I know you guys missed me.
Traptendo.
What is going on, guys? DJ Af here, and today we're checking out the Arturia FX Collection. They added 7 new plugins, which we're going to check out in this video, as well as 200 presets and an enhanced tutorial inside of those plugins. So we're going to check out some of the other things about it, and then I'm going to demonstrate how I would use them, and now I'll weigh in with my hot takes. So the link will be in the description box. I definitely want to hear from you guys how you feel about the Arturia FX Collection 2. Have you ever tried the Arturia plugin before? Well, you're about to see how good they are at hand. Let's begin. So I apologize for the extra pink noise and the background noise, but what I want to tell you is that the Arturia FX Collection works on both Windows and Mac. So, you know, it doesn't matter what system that you have or whatever, and it works on every DAW. I'm using the MPC software with the MPC linked to it as a controller. So that's why you hear a little bit of pink noise on my vocals. Here is the track though. And there we have it here. So what I'm gonna do next is grab one of the Arturia plugins that I really like, one of the newer ones. And obviously, this is something that a lot of people are going to pick up on, and that is bus force. So I'm right over here just loading up the effect, and here we go. So the main thing that I noticed in what I want you guys to know as far as this review, and a caveat, a con rather, is that it is a bit CPU intensive if you don't have the right computer for the job. And that is something that you have to make sure that you have. So you can see it load up just a little bit janky, and I am screen recording, but you know, if you have the type of i7 computer that I have, you know, 6-core processor and so forth, you should be able to handle it. So what I did was put force on my 808 track. And yeah, it's not gonna be able to handle everything that, you know, my Air Lo-Fi plugin was doing, but there are a lot of presets here, and we're gonna run into distortion. Let's hear how some of these presets sound. Turn that off. And then you start to see why I like force. Now, what is force? Well, it's an EQ, filter, compressor, and saturation. There are a couple of things that you can adjust, but seeing that we have a few plugins that I want to cover, I'm not going to go over every single thing, but if you want me to, I'll do that in a separate video, because these plugins are actually very special in the way that they attack things. So with the EQ, you can do different things. Obviously, it's I guess it would be a 3-band EQ. And you have your different things like your gain, you know, your gain structure. So if I was to turn this down, you'll see it slope down. And obviously that would kill the 808 a whole bunch. You can arrange stuff. And this is where I really like this package, because they do a good job of implementing other things too, just because you might want to do things like, I don't know, resize. Like it might be too small right now and you couldn't see anything. I can resize windows, I can do tutorials, and it's gonna tell me everything firsthand, you know. I'm gonna try and find the effect that I had the other day. Oh yeah, there it goes. Phaze bytron. Yeah, baby. So phaze bytron is a phaser. So what it's gonna do is gonna pull up, and now we can see it. And now let's go ahead and hear those hi-hats again. And what a lot of people don't know is, like, a phaser, a good phaser, when it's treated correctly, will ultimately change different elements of a phase, obviously, but different elements of whatever sound that you have in there. and it can kind of give like this presence that other effects can't. Yeah, let's hear that without the. And then you can get that more of that dreamy type vibe to your mix or whatnot. And I'm just putting it on high. It's just simple things so you can actually hear it. And that's the main thing that I want you guys to understand is that, yeah, you can do some pretty cool stuff with any of these effects. Something that I use a whole bunch on my MacBook Air M1 because it comes in handy, given the limited amount of effects that I can use when I'm mixing. But yeah, it gives it a vibe, that's for sure. Gonna listen to it in mono. Yeah, hi-hats are still there. Here is Memory Brigade. Now, Memory Brigade reminds me of a memory delay pedal that I own still to this very day. So I want to go ahead and hear it because that effect and what really makes this shine is simplicity. I mean, you have sync on, so it's syncing to your BPM when it's on, and then you can lock these together so you can have the left and right going at a certain speed or whatever. And again, just full transparency, the main thing that I would say as a caveat to many Arturia plugins is the CPU usage. But then again, I'm telling you guys, you should always spend great money on your laptop if you're doing music or whatever and you're a computer guy. I mean, I'm not so much of a computer guy as I am, well, the MPC is a computer, but you get my drift. But anyways, yeah, make great investments in your gear up front, and then therefore you don't have to make up for them later down the line, you know, when you really need it. Tell me how you feel about this video. I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Are you willing to use this? Did it tickle your fancy? Oh yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. But my early pros for this is, well, I think a lot of the tools when it comes down to the Arturia FX Collection are useful. I mean, you always need a good compressor no matter what. And when it comes down to compressors, sometimes the algorithm could be a little off, and then otherwise they are just pretty plain and boring. But it seems like Arturia puts a lot of thought into a lot of their plugins. And if you don't know, I've started off using Arturia plugins. My first plugin that I bought from Guitar Center was the Arturia Collection V Collection. So I really like this. I think a con though would definitely be the CPU usage depending on your computer. I think if you are doing music production at this current generation, you should have a computer that is well worthy of handling the load. Pause. Do I give this the stamp of approval? Well, it's Arturia, guys. You know damn well I like this company. Yeah,